So, yeah, we're live. Welcome on the Natural Sentient podcast. And I welcome this time Missy Hill. That is actually paranormal researcher. I will read your bio. As a paranormal researcher, gridworker, and intuitive investigator who explores the hidden energetic systems of the Earth. Uh, Her work focuses on ley lines, frequency patterns, and the unseen forces influencing both natural phenomena and global events. By combining observation, research, and intuitive insight, Missy connects UFO sightings, atmospheric anomalies, and spiritual phenomena to a larger energetic framework. So, yeah, I love that you love to question everything, and
Everything.
that you like to actually challenge what is it and why is it happening. So welcome on my channel. It's great to see you and great to actually talk with you.
Thank you, Slavka, for that beautiful introduction. And I want to make sure I'm saying your name correctly, Slavka.
Yes,
And that's
yes, it's
interesting because that means you have the Slavic right in your name.
yes. The
So,
my
because I was looking, are you in a Germanic tribe or Slavic? It would be more Slavic, but you're right there on the edge. So you're really, and of course, I had to bring the globe out. But before I do that, I have to introduce my partner, which is
Yeah, let's
our
introduce.
Thor. This is our Thor, who's had the zoomies today, and he's absolutely crazy. But it's spelled like carrying King Arthur codes, like Arthur, but Arthor, which is the Thor. And with that, I'm wearing the Thor's hammer. I figured I had to dress this way today, see, because it's always a theme, right? With my
Yeah.
mala beads, which is India, Indo-European. My Thor's hammer, which in the Germanic would be Indra.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Germanic version of Thor, which connects with the planet Jupiter and also the day of the week of Thor's Day, Thursday.
Yes.
And I also had to wear my Ukrainian cross. This is a Viking cross that was from a Ukrainian dig, and it's about I think it's circa like 1100 or something like that. So yeah, I figured this was the appropriate, because as soon as you connected in with me, I'm thinking grids. This is grids, and of course I had to get out the globe. Whether you believe the world is round, flat, a donut, holographic, it's a holographic template. So I was connecting
Wonderful.
in with where you are, and I was, feeling places like Budapest and Hungary, which I think is like to the south of you because it's Czech Republic, right?
Yes.
And Ukraine is further over, and then you border. I'm trying to think. Is it Slovakia? And I
Yes,
know
I'm
at one time all those countries would have been
yes.
Czechoslovakia.
Yes, you know it as a Czechoslovakia. That's
Yeah.
where I was actually born. 1985. So yeah, I still tell I'm Czechoslovak, a part of everything else. And yeah, it's very interesting to listen to you, like what you feel about that part of the world, like
Right. And
which.
how is it now? So here I am interviewing you because I want to know this. How has that changed with all the government structures and everything that you went through? Because I know it wasn't part of the USSR at one time, but it still falls under like this Slavic umbrella. And then there's all those little countries that split off. There's so many I can't even remember the names. I have to go back and watch things on YouTube, like the ones that are on the coast, I can't, my brain's not there right now because it's feeling more the landscape of what would look more like when I'm in Western North Carolina. Right now, I'm actually at the beach house. I'm in South Carolina. Which was part of the Carolinas at one time, that North and South Carolina were one. But of course,
Yeah.
during our time of the Civil War, that kind of changed things because the first shots were fired for the Civil War to the north of me in Charleston at Fort Sumter, where in North Carolina, Western North Carolina, where they had the Cherokee removal under Andrew Jackson, they did not want to be a part of the Civil War at all.
Mm-hmm.
So you have
Yeah.
that division. Here it was the Carolinas unity consciousness, and then this polarization of division of
Mm-hmm.
the either or consciousness, the black and the white, the good and the bad, the distortion between patriarchy and matriarchal. So I suspect by what I'm feeling, you are probably, are you in a like hilly mountainous region?
Yes, we have some. We have hills, mountains as well in Slovakia. Yes. So it's like the surface. Yes, we have some mountains.
Mm-hmm. What
Um,
about where you are? Are you in a city? Because you're in Prague. Is that where you're?
right now, I'm in Prague. Yes.
So that's a city. Okay. So is I don't remember exactly what that looks like. If it's somewhat hilly but not mountainous, is what I suspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not really like hills or mountains, but yeah, it has some places where you can go for hiking and like
Right.
forests, mostly
Of
forests
course.
and
What I mean
lots
by
of
hills is
water.
that the elevation would be higher than sea level. It would be in meters where you are. I don't know how many meters high, but right now I'm like probably 20 feet above sea level, or not even 20 feet, maybe two here. I mean, hardly any feet above sea level in this right in this location. Maybe 5 feet above sea level. I don't know. I can't even say. But in North Carolina, it's like the elevation of the one house that we had was 2,200, 2,300 feet. And where my father lives is 3,300 feet. And where I go hiking is anywhere from 4,000 up. The highest point on in western North Carolina is Mount Mitchell, which he's
Hmm.
been hiking there, the kitty cat, 6,684 feet, but I don't know what that would be in meters because I can't remember.
Yeah. When I was in Florida, I also had that challenge, in my mind, like convert from feet, meters from feet, kilometers and miles, everything.
So where in Florida, where were you? I lived there, so I'm curious.
I'm curious, yes, to hear as well, like about Carolina, because I know that it's around 33 degree that ley line, you know,
Well,
and
depends on what do you know what town you were in Florida?
yes, I was mostly around, one in Orlando and that part like St. Augustine, but mostly on the other side, so it was
Okay, so
at Gainesville,
Orlando and St.
Gainesville mostly.
Augustine is actually Orlando is where James Rink had his last conference. St.
Hmm.
Augustine played a big role in the Civil War and different wars too. There was a fort there that was obviously settled by the Spaniards in St. Augustine, and Ponce de Leon had his in Florida and Puerto Rico and a lot of places in the Caribbean, they name streets and different things after people, like Christopher Columbus, Ponce de Leon, people like this. Actually, Ponce de Leon's body was on display at one of the churches when I went to Puerto Rico. He's one of these dudes that wanted me to help him move on. I was like, I don't even know if this is you, and I'm not feeling up to this right now. But yeah, I remember there is a Ponce de Leon Boulevard going over towards, heading towards Siesta Key. What, did you go there for a conference? Was it like Brian's conference or anybody's conference, or did you just go?
I just went for another occasion. I didn't
Okay.
go for the conference.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well, on the coast, so did you go to the Gulf Coast?
you mean like really up there, like where is like the
The water. Did you get near any body of water like an ocean?
yes, yes, it was in St. Augustine in that area,
Okay, so that was the
uh,
East Coast. Okay,
and
just the East.
also yeah, St. Pete. I remember that was St. Pete as well. So both sides actually.
Okay, St. Pete. So you were on the Bermuda Triangle side of Stargate 3 and the Gulf of America, Mexico, as they call it now. I put both words in there of Stargate 2, which, according to the works of Ashiana Dean, who goes by Iyasha now, founder of, wrote the Voyagers 1 and 2 and all that stuff, and Keylontic Science. She talks about the Sarasota, the grids of Sarasota being the Stargate 2, which connects into Venus.
Hmm.
Okay, and in the Cathedral Network, she called it she lived for a long time in Mayaca, Florida, which is more in the middle of the state, and she talked about how things were starting to dark flower, and to me that actually made sense when I went to Mar-a-Lago. When I went down to Mar-a-Lago in 2025 to visit Ron's daughter and family down there, we went on the Margaritaville cruise, and it leaves out of the port of Palm Beach, and as a crow flies really close to Mar-a-Lago, and I felt this kind of power when I was down there. And I said, and I just, things open up as a window and I feel them. I mean, couldn't go on the grids of Mar-a-Lago, but I'm getting near it. So I go over the bridge. It's patrolled by police. Everything's patrolled by cops with cones up everywhere. And I'm sort of close to it, but all of a sudden I get this download that, the Luciferian, not the satanic, but the Luciferian Atlantean priesthood is back, and they moved the Stargate temporarily because it's compromised, from Siesta Key area, Sarasota, to Mar-a-Lago.
Hmm. Wow.
Okay. And the T-Man actually has a replica of the Ark of the Covenant. So that came this year. Now we went down there again to visit family and did 2 cruises because we needed the time so he could see his kids and stuff in between. And it turned out that this time we couldn't even get near it at all. Because the first time I thought we were going to go, we ended up going to SeaWorld with them, was too tired and all this stuff. When we came back, that war had already started. We couldn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah. I mean, this is amazing stuff. So, wherever you travel, you feel this, like the energy of the place and stargates and the ley lines.
Yes, and I'm not gonna talk about all this. I mean, I don't know. In 35 minutes, I don't know where to go. I'm almost trying to now make this like a moving meditation so somebody feels like the perspective of, when I tell the story of the elements of how I'm gonna actually break the story down, because I don't know how I'm gonna get this done in 35 minutes. I really don't. Is that a
Yeah.
challenge for you too? Are you finding that that's difficult?
Yeah, it's a challenge. And let's say we talk about the upcoming conference. That
Yes.
is online conference. It's called Summer Days, and it's organized by wonderful Gina Virginia Casella. And yeah, Missy, you are going to talk about how you started your grid worker mission, how you started to do the grid work, and to simply feel the
Yes.
land, what is there. So yeah, I mean, 35 minutes, it's like, wow. Okay, how to really pack everything in that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll finish the story of the Florida grids because you went there. And I don't know if you've heard this on other shows, and it's important. And it's how we piece together these stories in relationship to each other, what's going to click for somebody. So on this last cruise, I've always wanted to see, because I get into the paranormal, and everything started off with ghosts for me as a child. Years ago, for a Halloween, my husband dressed up as Robert the Haunted Doll because he heard about Robert the Haunted Doll on Coast to Coast, and he never got a bad feeling about him. So this
Yeah.
is a little replica of Robert the Haunted Doll, okay, that we got in Key West. And I wanted to do this Key West trip for a number of reasons. Because first of all, if I ever do cruises regularly, it's a good place where we could have a conference on the ship and go see something, which would be this for grid work, as well as this other one that I did where it goes to what's called Fort Charlotte, which is, it
Yeah.
connects him with pirate timelines and things like that. Also connects him with Charlotte, North Carolina, because it was named after Queen
Hmm.
Charlotte. And this is in
Yeah.
the Bahamas, part of the trade routes and things like that, like way back when it was colonial United States and pre-Civil War stuff, you know. So when we went to see Robert the Doll, which was in Key West at the East Fort Martello Museum, that Robert is actually a guardian and gatekeeper of, it wasn't just like seeing a haunted doll. I wasn't getting that. It was actually showing me things holographically, not just about, you know, that he was owned by Robert Eugene Otto, and that was his personal toy, and somebody made him, and whether the doll was cursed or this or that and all that stuff. Robert's now 122 years old, and it was interesting that he received letters for his 101st birthday from uh, George Bush Sr., President George Bush
Hmm.
Sr., also head of the CIA.
Wow.
The Bushes are connected in with uh, the camps, you know, in Nazi Germany, and Prescott Bush, I think it
Oh
was,
yeah.
made the money in the gas chamber, you know, all that stuff. And then Jeb Bush, who wasn't nearly as I'm not going to get into good, bad, and ugly, but let's say was a better person than the other one, I feel. And if anybody listens to Christy Campbell's recent sessions and shows with Rob and everybody else about her session with Misha Johnston and who the clone of George Bush Sr. was, let's just say, whoa. But anyway,
Yeah.
I asked Robert about this. Robert's like, I don't get into politics at all, but started showing me things like children at one time would run around, play with toys outside. Now kids do, you know, this all the time. They're on their phone. And then seeing the rise of the Industrial Revolution, and basically the United States was more at its height at the rise of the Industrial Revolution as opposed to on the downward side of it. And, you know, like World War I, World War II. And this was right before this war broke out, right before the whole thing of us being involved with Israel and, you know, all that, you know, stuff with
Yeah.
Iran and all that. So, which Iran actually connects into all this stuff again too, the mala beads, and you know, if you follow the work of Robert Zephyr and uh, you know
Yes.
who those people were, the and still are, but those grids originally being part of the original, you know, the 12 tribes, the Maji Grail lines,
Yeah.
and
Maharish
and
Grit. Yeah.
actually the people that came there were more the, you know, the Indo-European people. So that's all I have for as far as, oh, so anyway, oh, this is important too. So when I was there, feeling also being at the tip of Key West where Robert is, besides seeing all this stuff, it's a spot where the Gulf of America, Mexico, of Stargate 2 and the Bermuda Triangle, which of course they called the Devil's Triangle, which any feminine vortex, they always put the word devil in it. They demonize the
Mm.
feminine. And
Yeah.
those two bodies of water are like dissolving into each other in a time where there wasn't bodies of water like this is, you know, this is this and that's that, and separating them out. Actually, I think they've actually said that the Gulf actually has more salt in it, possibly a different type of mineral base than the Atlantic, and the crystal, the sand from Siesta Key, Sarasota, is the shattered crystal from Atlantis.
Wow. Yeah. That's very remarkable.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing this. I mean, we could talk a lot about this stuff.
yeah.
Yes, so I'm just very excited to hear your actually story at the conference.
Yes, yeah.
And and
Although
no, we
probably
know, yeah.
more of my story is on shows because we only have 35 minutes. It's going to be great though because it's going to give an overview of everybody with music in between, and it's going to be like the process, a somatic experience. So we're sharing space together, yes, over the internet, not necessarily in person, but the soul group, the soul collective, being together in a process all day.
Yeah. So I just put the link uh for the conference where you can get the ticket if you haven't purchased yet. It's through buymeacoffee.com/Gina Virginia Casella/extras. So jump in and join. It's gonna be really awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, because yeah, we're gonna speak there. Another dragon speakers are just Julia Anchorhaven, right? Laura Ferguson, Sheila
Sheila.
Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Somara.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Samara, yeah. So yeah, that would be great. Join if you can and support Gina. She's amazing and very, very, very well organized. Um, I admire her for everything that she's doing. So yeah,
Oh, I know it's
I'm very
amazing.
excited.
It's amazing what she's doing. I mean, highly organized and just spot on, like right on the money with timing and just everything is precise. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, very precise. So I'm very excited for that, and I'm gonna be like first time speaker. So it's like, ooh, okay. So have you been on some conference before, Missy?
Well, this is like going back to speaking for me because what happened is I was on a trajectory, and sometimes, we're targeted individuals, family things happen, and sometimes your life gets shut down. And for me, it was those eclipses. I went dark because I had a channel called Galactic Earth Fusion on Blog Talk Radio that I actually started in 2012 when I was going to work the Star Knowledge Conference that came into Hendersonville, North Carolina. They said Asheville, but Hendersonville. And so I felt I wanted to interview everybody because I was going to be covering the and filming with another friend the whole conference, which we did. And most of that stuff ended up on the cutting room floor. But I met a lot of people at that conference. That's where I formed a lot of lasting bonds and friendships. Some of those people are more local to Western North Carolina. Some of them have passed, like the ones that were of the native uh, past, like Chief Golden Light Eagle and his brother Blue Star Eagle. But Laura Eisenhower still attends those conferences, so that's where I met Laura the first time.
Mm,
Actually, I connected with her even before meeting her because I heard her on my friend Joshua P. Warren's uh, show when he was in Asheville, North Carolina, called Speaking of Strange. And then when I was in Lisa Renee of Energetic Synthesis Community for a while, I met Laura in there because she was in the container for a while too. And then I met her at this conference, and then we became friends. I went to some of her events. I worked at some of those events and started doing cruises with a lady named Susan Shumsky of Divine Travels, who partnered with Legendary World, which was the travel agent, and booked these cruises on either Royal Caribbean or Princess. So the
wow.
first cruise
Mm-hmm.
I actually did, the man named Ed Grimsley passed away, the first time I met him, he had been a regular on Coast to Coast with George Norrie, which was later on. You hear Rob talking
Yep.
about Art Bell all the time. Well, George
Yes.
Norrie took the place of Art Bell, and Joshua P. Warren had brought Ed Grimsley because he heard about him too. And I said, "Oh, that would be so cool if he came to Asheville, where Joshua brought him, hosted him, had an event at the radio station with these third generation night vision goggles. When I looked through these goggles, I couldn't believe the what was UFO activity. Come to find out, my thoughts on what UFOs and UAPs has changed so much over the years. I mean, most of what we were looking at was definitely what some would call SSP or military
Yeah.
type of craft, and they probably actually knew that we were having that event, so they wanted to put on a show because they listen in. So anyway, I started doing these UFO night vision tours on the cruise ships. That's what I did. And I spoke too, but I didn't get up and speak like I'm doing now because I'm backpedaling a lot of things with the technology because I was never a techie. I never had a desktop. I was an over-the-road truck driver. I was a massage therapist, massage licensed massage bodywork therapist, things like this. Always do, and then energetic things
Yes.
too, because I have something called the Quantum Infinity, which is an app, but that's like an app in its own thing on the tablet. I'm not all over the place. So I'm backpedaling because I'm trying to get a book written too. And when
Yeah.
one's
That.
more of a speaker and not a writer, it's hard to do, so I have to like get these stories off the transcripts, and because I started writing it in Grok. Well, Grok, it turns out, Apple and Android are not compatible with each other. ChatGPT probably would have been better. It's just a mess. So it's like
It's a
so
mess.
many
Yeah.
so many times I start things and they get lost. Just like when I went dark on Blog Talk Radio. A lot of it, like I said, a lot of people have passed away. Franco Di Nicola, who I interviewed, he passed away. Tim Beckley, friend, who's like big and all this stuff, friends with a lot of people, and had his own thing, where he published books, and Peter Moon, who's his publishing company, they were sort of all connected. Well, he passed away. Just so many of these people passed away. So when the channel went down, actually I stopped doing it because of personal reasons. Then the channel went down. I lost everything because I didn't know how to move it from here to there. I mean, I had those videos saved, but I didn't have them downloaded because you have to store, you have to have somewhere to store stuff. And the truth is, if all this goes down, you have to have it in, something that's like this. You have to have it in a, right? It has to be in a book form. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is actually that challenge that comes with all that they want to push us towards, everything digital. Like,
Yeah.
no, that can't happen. I mean, not in such a way which is, this malevolent way to
Yeah.
control. So yeah, can you give us a little sneak peek about your book that is coming?
Well, the book, okay, you see him. this is him.
Oh, that's adorable.
Okay, he is like not the reincarnation, I can't say that, but the male aspect and identity of the shared consciousness of another cat, which is his predecessor named Soda, who you'll meet on Saturday because you'll see the pictures of Soda, who was over the road as a truck driver with us. I actually we found her. I found her behind a soda machine in must have been, yeah, 2001. It would have been after her birthday because this was when we were living in Georgia. We were living in a place called Winder, Georgia, and my husband was driving a truck for a company named Holox that delivered liquid gases like oxygen that went to hospitals, nitrogen gases that you use for packaging things, argon, can't remember what it's used for, but liquid gas. It was
Yeah.
definitely what you call hazmat, hazardous materials, because it's flammable. So you have to be careful. So he would do this, and a lot of times he'd have to stay overnight places. We lived in our RV, and our home base was a campground at the state park in Winder, Georgia, which is in Barrow County of Georgia, which is north of the Atlanta area. it was called Fort Yargo. So when when we were living there, we actually went to a pet store one day on days off when we were camping out somewhere else because we'd move our RV around. A cat was screaming at me, and the day of that was May 20th. Well, after that, I started seeing cats everywhere, and it wasn't long after that, maybe a month or 6 weeks. And when I was in Elberton, Georgia, or really close to it, which is home of those infamous Georgia Guidestones, if you remember those
Yes.
Georgia Guidestones, I didn't even know about them at the time. I found soda behind a soda machine at a laundromat because I happened to go to the grocery store and I saw this meowing cat. And she was a tiny,
yes.
pitiful thing. And I said, I'm going to get you some food. And if you're there when I get back, I'm going to feed you. So then it was like I had to take care of her. You know, I didn't know if I was going to keep her, but then after one day, I knew I was going to keep her. She had ticks all over her. It was pathetic and pitiful. Had to wash her, you know, deflea her, all this stuff. Hey, Jason in the chat
Hey,
house.
Jason.
Cool. So, yeah, she was just wonderful and did everything with us. I mean, she would go hiking. She would go on my shoulder. I'd have her sitting on my shoulder or my husband's shoulder, and we were inseparable. I mean, she did everything. So when we worked for US Express, which was based out of Tunnel Hill, Georgia, that first time I remember Soda, you know, she got lost in the truck. I thought she got out. She was inside one of the cabinets in the truck. I was freaking out. Here we were going to get our first load, and I'm like, I can't leave without her. She even did that the first day that she stayed with us. She got stuck in the bed at the motel because we were staying in a motel, and there must have been other animals, or the bed was old or something, but there's like this mesh underneath the box spring. She got in there and crawled up in there, and then we had to leave. I thought she had gotten out, and then this Indian man calls me, no cats allowed. You know, I said, well, she wasn't a pet. I found her, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't just leave her there. So yeah, the story is set on looking at this through her eyes. Like I'm a beautiful redheaded girl with green eyes and like freckles on my nose, you know, and the first talking about herself as if she's a human, but then seeing that she's actually crossed over, she's on the other side, and she's connecting in with him. So actually Arthur can remote view Soda's past. He remote views her past, and when he gets stressed out, he will play with something like this, which is a bottle cap. See, this is a bottle cap. And what I do is I throw this well, he doesn't want to play now, and he'll play fetch. He actually plays fetch. So that's like the comic relief. Or he's been, you know, remote viewing the situation, and he just can't handle it anymore. So he's back in his body, and he's either sleeping with his tail lashing, or, you know, he's playing with this bottle cap. So the whole thing is set with, it can have in it public figures, you know, different people that I've met. Like I brought up Joshua P. Warren and his alien that was gifted to him from Art Bell before Art Bell passed away, because Carville the alien was coming to life at night. And you'll see this picture of Carville in the conference. I have a picture of Carville, so people can, if I can't get into the story too much, I'll link up with this chat we're having, and I'll say, go back and listen to this you know, this interview that we're doing, because it's going to be easier than me telling the story. But Carville the alien was actually gifted to Art Bell from Rush Limbaugh of iHeart Radio at the time, because even though Rush is a political figure, you know, more into politics, they both were under the umbrella of iHeart Radio, which in Western North Carolina is Clear Channel. And the reason his name was Carville is because Rush thought he looked like James Carville. So anyway, this alien sat and listened to all these radio shows at night, all these paranormal people Hello, Puck Elf. Good to see you. All these people
Welcome.
that were, you know, paranormal people, ghosts, and stuff about UFOs, Area 51, because Art lived in Pahrump, Nevada, which was not far from Vegas, and Rachel, Nevada, and Area 51. So
Yes,
after all that, when Art quit doing the show, and George Norrie pretty much, Art wanted to retire, and George Norrie pretty much took over for Art Bell. And actually, I've met George Norrie. Didn't get to meet Art, but George Norrie actually came to Asheville for a certain
that's
conference
great.
that he put on. So I got to meet him at that conference. I went there and supported and listened and stuff like that. But so Art brought that home, and his new wife, because his first wife actually, hello Terry, his first wife actually passed away, and she was Filipino. Second wife was Filipino too, and they had a daughter. And even though Art was a lot older in age, they shared a daughter. So anyway, the wife and daughter were scared as heck of this alien, said it was coming to life, and he contacted Joshua P. Warren, which Joshua couldn't go get it, but hired somebody to get. Said, I got to get this thing out of here. It's coming to life at night. So tomorrow, or not tomorrow, what day is today? Whatever day today. Today's Wednesday. On
It's Wednesday.
Saturday, you'll see pictures of Carville the alien, and can link that back with this interview, which is great because now I don't have to tell the story because I'm not going to have time. So, but I'm going to show the picture.
I love the picture.
And you're
I
talking
love
about
it.
St. Augustine. So it's interesting. I chose to have this mug for my Yogi Detox Tea. I got to get the tea bag out, which is Ron John Surf Shop. I think Jason will appreciate this. I don't know if he got to surf in Hawaii, but Ron John was the first surf shop in Florida. I don't know if the first, but the most popular franchise, like small franchise business that started in Cocoa Beach, and now they're all over at least Florida, like northern Florida, I think South Florida, and like going over towards Pensacola and Alabama and stuff like that. So here you go,
Yeah,
Jay.
it's a very cool cup. I love the design.
And
However, I don't know the brand, but I love it.
since Jason is in the house, I also went to Hawaii as a teenager with my parents. So I did not get to Kauai, but I did go to the Maui, the Big Island, and Oahu. So those were great trips. I jumped off those falls that was in Maui, I think it was. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I kind of wanted to do the bubble braids. I couldn't do the Viking braids. I don't have the patience for that. But last Halloween, I had the bubble braids, which I learned how to do, and then I had somebody else do those. Like Lagatha things coming down. So yeah, I did the Hana Road. I jumped off those falls in Maui. I went to the Big Island, so I saw, was it Haleakala, Kilauea? I can't remember the volcano. I have to look up which volcano. But I went to the volcano and I did all that stuff. I surfed in Oahu, was better. When I tried to surf in Maui, I got beat up on the coral reef. It was miserable. So,
Hi,
hey,
Julia.
Julia. Yeah. So, yeah. So I've done that. And as far as Europe, I don't talk about too much. In 2014, went to Ireland with my parents, this before my mother passed, and my husband Ron. And then the next year, 2015, went to Spain and France. And in Spain and France, we went to, places like San Sebastian
Yeah.
and in Spain. And God, my brain's not working. Where the big Jesus or Yeshua, it's almost like the one in Brazil. It's like that lightning rod where it's like this huge statue, like concrete statue of Jesus, and you hike to the top. So there was that. And then when I was in San Sebastian, I actually wanted to go swim in the ocean. It was one of these cars. Didn't realize I had the key fob in my pocket of my baggy
Oh,
pants, and I went swimming, and the key fob was in there, and then we couldn't start the car, and we had to call a tow truck. There's also, we went
Ooh,
to Rennes-le-Chateau, and if you know anything about William Henry gets into the whole thing about, Rennes-le-Chateau, which is really cool. All this Mary Magdalene Knights Templar stuff,
oh
and
yeah,
went to a hike where Mont Segur, where the Cathars were burned alive. So that was
yeah,
a castle where we went. Yep.
yeah. It's the south part of France where is also this ley line of the Archangel Michael, I think.
Yeah, Archangel Michael ley line. Yeah, that all kind of connects in. So, yeah,
Yeah,
where I'm really drawn to next is, I mean, we need to get to the UK because of my husband, but I'm drawn to Norway because of my mother being Norwegian, and mostly all Norwegian on that side, because I'm mostly German and Norwegian. Then I'm, Scott Irish too. But I want to go to that Atlantic Road in Norway. It's beautiful, and so I don't necessarily want to. I don't want to go into Oslo. I want to fly somewhere else because I don't care about cities. I just want to see it. I want to see the fjords, and I
yeah.
mean, it'd be great to do a cruise. But I've said I want to go to Greenland in the short term because I thought it'd be an easy trip. Now, Julia said I better be careful that somebody doesn't try to re-recruit me in the SSP if I go to Greenland. But it's not just because of Trump I want to go to Greenland. It's not that. It's the Northern Lights speak to me all the time. Even in South Carolina, I can connect in with whatever is going on with the auroras, with what's happening with the sun.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's the only time the organic sun comes in. This white sun that we have, this is a Mandela effect. During the day, I feel it's toxic. I feel it's too hot. It burns. But something at night is coming in, a different radiation belt, which I call the radiance, that I've even seen in my room. I can tell you this story. I did talk about it with, and if you have any questions, interrupt me. But for some reason, I feel like I just want to.
No, it's great. Feel free to share what comes on your
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. So, uh, what's interesting about Greenland and these northern it's this ley line thing. It's this thing of
Ley lines, yeah.
this line of, well, the Gulf, the whole thing with what I said about Mar-a-Lago. For people who are just joining, go back and listen to the beginning, to do with Robert the Doll, Key West, the Gulf of America, Mexico, Stargate 2 dissolving into Stargate 3, which is Bermuda Triangle, and how those dissolve into each other at the tip, how that goes all the way up to Maine. So does Been to Maine, and then how it goes into Canada, Newfoundland, Gina up in Canada, keep going up to I'm trying to think of what the country is where they're going to take us. It's not going to be. I don't know if we go to Nova Scotia on that cruise, but where this cruise goes for, the reason I kind of want to do this is because from North Carolina, it's about a 4-hour drive to Baltimore, I think, maybe a little longer, to Baltimore, Maryland, where the cruise would leave from. Okay. It only happens
Wow.
in August, so it's not probably going to happen this year. And it's Carnival. And the reason to do Carnival, I do like their entertainment, even though people say they're the party cruise. I think they have great music. I mean, the bands are phenomenal compared to other cruises. If you like music, they're not great musicians. I'm sorry, because I play music too. I mean, I'm not the best musician, but I'm good enough for a campfire and could probably, if people have had a few, I'd be entertaining. So,
Wow. That sounds really great, that trip,
but I mean, if I practice, I was pretty good before COVID. A friend of mine and I were good enough before COVID to go to the dive bar here and play. But then COVID happened and I've kind of been out of practice. But so Baltimore, what would happen is it would leave out of Baltimore, but what's around Baltimore, which people will hear a little bit about, I'd like to go back to Manassas, because Manassas is where I wouldn't say I had an awakening, but I had a realization about the land holding trauma. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, or fortunately, we learn through the opposite. And when there's so much negative energy, that have been put into the grids holographically. It's like a phantomal or something that's like in a record, and it plays over and over again, like it's a skip in a record, and the same thing plays over and over again. This is why people get pictures on night vision infrared cameras if you go to a place like Gettysburg, because the soldiers, people will see the soldiers there, and people's thoughts and feelings, and seeing it and wanting to see it, keep reactivating it. So I learned a couple things. I learned something when I went to Elvis's place in Memphis, Graceland. I'm going to Graceland, Graceland, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland. Song by Paul Simon. So when we went to Graceland, we saw Elvis's grave, and I'll show a picture of some of these pyramids tomorrow. One of them is Graceland. This is perfect. We're doing the show now. I don't have to talk about this. One of them is Graceland. Because I can't in 35 minutes. I'm like thinking I'm going to go somewhere else with this. They're going to listen to this show to get that. The pyramids there, and then you're going to also see the pyramid of the Luxor, which connects into Egypt. And I'll go back, circle back around with Lyra and Vega and Vegas and vegan and all those things with the Luxor and the black hole and the white hole and all that. But what I noticed when I went to Graceland and I was standing by Elvis's grave, I'm thinking, Elvis probably really isn't there anymore. And what people are feeling is they're feeling what's called a tulpa or egregore. It's their consciousness creating or recreating his ghost to bring him there. So people feel something, and what they're actually feeling is the collective manifestation of what people want it to be, which is his ghost. So that's even the same thing that happens when you go to a Civil War battlefield, which actually it's Michael Koff that reminded me this was actually called the Battle of Bull Run, not the Battle of Manassas, because when I actually went to this place in Virginia, we were going for coffee. We were going to Barnes and Noble, brick and mortar bookstore that I guess it still exists, but Amazon, most people are buying stuff on Amazon, and they had the Starbucks coffee in there. So we were going for coffee and decided to take a hike. I said, because it's beautiful behind here. Look at all these woods. We happened to find out that we are standing on a mass grave. Didn't know. I'm starting to see soldiers feel this death and this ickiness, but it's also beautiful. And we're in a national park. We're in the Manassas National Park. I didn't know that. Then I go back to the Barnes and Noble, and Ron opens the book, my husband, to the very page of that battle. So learning about tulpa, feeling, tulpas, later I'll research on what these are called, and how people's thoughts and feelings actually contribute to the good, the bad, and the ugly type of a situation. So if we went on this trip, I would go back to Manassas, and I'd also go to Washington, D.C., because I've only had the Chevy Chase version and feeling of DC, which is going around and round and round with my parents, getting lost in DC, not actually seeing it, not going to see any of that stuff. Now, I did see the Parthenon that William Henry does talk about in Nashville, Tennessee, quite a few times. I mean, we've been there. There was a couple times we went there, and the big statue of Athena's there and all the stuff. And when you see this, you realize, oh my God, these gods or whatever they are, these are the Nephilim. These are
Nephilims, yeah. A lot of symbology.
They are, yeah. So that was interesting. But so if we did that trip, we'd go there, and then it goes into Canada. I'm trying to remember the country, but it goes to one of the places in Greenland. It's called Korkatorp. I can't remember the other one right now. I've been researching these, but I can't remember. So the reason
those names are tongue twisters.
Yeah. The reason it's interesting to me, and I'll just have to protect myself, is because right now what's easy about a cruise is I wouldn't have to fly on a plane. I just got my passport, by the way, too, finally, because my passport was expired and my husband threw the old one out. I'll tell you this, if you have an expired passport, don't ever get rid of it. Never, never, never. In the United States, being a female, if you've had any name changes, it almost makes it impossible to change your stuff around, the background checks and everything they do, especially in this state. It took me years to even get, I had to get a South Carolina driver's license to save money on taxes. I didn't want to surrender my North Carolina license because I don't really like South Carolina. But anyway, it's not my preference. Let's put it that way. Let's say I prefer the mountains. It just makes it impossible. So I had to get that, and it took forever. But if you have an expired passport, first of all, try not to ever let it expire. But if it does, it's easier to renew that than to start fresh again.
I didn't know that it's challenging.
Yeah, now it is. In the US, it never used to be. But I don't know. I think there's stuff going on they're not telling us. So anyway, there's
It's
all
a
that.
lot.
So and then the whole thing with Greenland is it's kind of connecting where you're skirting it. You don't have to fly, and it's closer to here than Iceland. Now, of course, I'd love to go to Iceland. I much prefer that, but as far as cost, and it's fun. I mean, so before 14 days on a boat, I have never had that experience. Don't really want to do it during hurricane season, but I guess you maybe book it last minute and see, just wait and see if make sure there's no hurricane. I know the first storm, because I work with the storms and clearing them with I showed before my,
Hmm.
my Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
I work with the plasma crystalline Mjolnir. I can't say that either correctly. This is a feminine version of it, as you can see. And here's the
Powerful.
Viking Ukrainian cross for people who did not see that from the
Yeah. It's that
dig.
Orthodox with all
Yeah,
sides equal, not
yeah,
the
yeah.
actually Catholic cross.
Hmm.
That's actually powerful, and actually that one, that authentic,
Yeah.
holding that energy that is supposed to have.
Which I suspect and feel possibly part of that cradle of that civilization actually came from Romania. What do you feel? Where that Romanian Sphinx is. And
Yeah,
unfortunately,
you mean Butchech? Mm-hmm.
I interviewed Peter Moon, who at one time wrote. I had these books out because Rob and I were going to try to get him on at one time. He's since retired. Peter Moon,
Mm-hmm.
Transylvania Moonrise,
Moonrise.
and
Mm-hmm.
The Secret Parchment. Sunrise, and he's also part of the whole Montauk. He had the Montauk Chronicles. Peter Moon did. He's since retired, but
Mm-hmm.
his website's still up. But yeah, he had a lot of things to do with all the stuff to do with Montauk. So yeah, that
Well,
was
I
a
know the
great
books. Yeah.
interview. And it's unfortunate that he retired because I can't interview him again. He doesn't want to do it anymore. So
Yeah, I can understand. I know also the books from Radu Sinamar, exactly about the Romanian Bucec and what's
this has Radu Cinema.
underground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. We
And the
can travel
guy
all
that
around the globe.
I have a friend that goes to Romania regularly and follows that uh, the lady with the white hair that starts with a T. I can't think of her. Maybe it'll come to me. What her name is? She has this school. It's like her version of a Hogwarts. Well, anyway, these people were connected to her, and Peter Moon was a part of that group. And through them, I met Og Telez, who was SSP. He had the information like around the time of Max Spears and all that stuff. And it was after connecting with him, I had a lot of fear. And that's when everything got sabotaged in my life because I wasn't ready to allow those pieces to come in. I was afraid of them. And I also want to protect family members that are for real involved in, certain things connected with, uh, you know, military and
Yes. So
stuff like that. So
I feel a
Yeah,
lot
so
of Nordic energy.
I found those two interviews though, and I have to figure out how to upload them from my channel. The only one I never have a problem with is when Julia sends me something iCloud, it's easy. People send
Hmm.
stuff through Google Drive or some other medium, or I have to download it first and save it somewhere. I've got problems. So I'm learning this tech thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have an iPhone, so I will send you this recording through some like transfer now server or whatever.
I
So
don't
hope
know what that is. Do I have to have that app to do it or no?
no, you just click on the link and download the video.
Okay. Well,
So
let's see
that's
where
gonna
it
be
goes.
easy.
Maybe that one will work and not go because it's not Google. Maybe I'll have no problem with it.
No, 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 no. I don't want to complicate it for you. Not at all.
Okay.
It just, yeah, I will send it over to you so you can
Cool.
share it as well. So looks like there is a lot of like this Viking Nordic energy that is like attracting you go more, to the north. Like you said, Norway, UK, Iceland, and Greenland. It's like all these, and also that part holds a lot of like, let's call it hidden things that are
That
actually
they
emerging.
they called that Lohas Atlantis, where the other one, Caribbean is more like I think they call it Brua Atlantis. And because that's my bloodline, everybody's wanting to go south towards the Caribbean and the equator, but I want to go north. Plus, my
Mm-hmm.
body doesn't like to be hot. I don't like the heat.
Mhm. So you prefer to like to cool down places like where it's not that hot.
Yeah, yeah. My husband likes doesn't mind heat and likes tropical. I mean, tropical for me would have to be more like high mountains. Like if I went to Costa Rica, I'd want to be in the mountains. I wouldn't want to be on the coast necessarily. That's just a little intense. But being on the coast where there is mountains, like when I went to Maine. Oh, Newfoundland, is it Newfoundland that the cruise goes to? I can't remember. I'd have to look that up on my phone. Carcatalk and the other one. I can't remember the name. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
So and who is offering this like cruise
That
uh
particular one is
trips?
is a Carnival, and I
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy. I mean, Carnival's had a lot of problems. Yes, you can watch the Poop Cruise on Netflix. I know, but that used to go out of Charleston here. It was called the Carnival Sunshine. And what we liked, and we have all this points built up now. So for us, we could probably get some special deal because that was the reason we did that one so much is because we were so close to it. I mean, we're an hour from the port, made it easy, when we
Mm-hmm.
started cruising again. Because the other cruises, I didn't pay for any of them. The ones that
Mm-hmm.
I did with uh, Legendary World and Divine Travels, I didn't pay for those. All that was free for in exchange for what I did for them, with the night vision tours and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And I would do
amazing.
that again now.
Of
But see,
course.
when I stopped doing that, it's my one cat soda was starting to, go downhill. She wasn't doing well, and I couldn't leave my cats. I had to be there to, because at one point, I was hand feeding her and had to, give her fluids and all this stuff. So I just couldn't leave her. And then the other cats too. And then like I said, my mother passed away, and it was just one thing after another. It was all this stuff, and then that whole stupid virus thing, that pandemic happened, and all that mess too.
Oh yeah.
Stopped it, all momentum, and then that channel was taken down. So all momentum that I had was like flatline. But you have to rebuild. I mean, that's what happens. Some people, it for real, if their house gets burned down or whatever, they have to rebuild. But sometimes it takes a while,
Yes.
motivated or whatever. So something shifted, and I feel, that things are moving forward. This
Things are
conference,
definitely
yeah,
moving forward. Yes, that's actually why it is happening.
yeah, yeah.
So Amazing. I love to listen to you. So we have some questions from Julia. I will pull
Cool.
them. Yeah, she already
Oh
left
yeah.
because she
Oh
is
yeah.
online, but yes, she asked some questions. And guys, if you have some other questions for Missy, please put them in the chat. Oh,
Tim again. Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to bases for her too. I want to live vicariously through those people going to bases. I think that'll be fun, especially to go out on the land and go see the sites. I mean, Julia, you got to go do that. If you can do it, you got to get out and, go walk the land and go see the sites that Miles wants to take you to. That'll be awesome. And
yes, and I
did
look
I hear
forward.
this right that you're going to come to some conference?
Yes, I'm going to bases as well.
You are.
Yeah, because it's
Cool.
in Europe, and for me, it's very convenient. It's still part. It's still for me doable because Florida was a bit more costly for me, but UK, I already bought flight ticket. So
So
yeah, and
where are you going? Is it Gatwick or Heathrow or where does it go? Do you know
I'm
what
going to Stansted, and from there I'm going to direction. I think devices.
Okay. Oh yeah,
That's
you don't have to go into anywhere near London, right? You're not going anywhere near London or not? Are you going
not
to go to
not this
London?
time. I'm going through the London through Stansted because I found very very cheap flight ticket like for 16 euros. So I was just like happy. Ooh,
Wow. Cool.
universe opened up. Yeah, like the door, and I just okay. I grabbed it.
Isn't there another conference you're going to be doing too? What was she saying? There's an besides bases, there's some other thing.
There is Carrie's Cassidy
Are you going to do that?
conference in July in Watford, UK, which is like northern part,
Okay.
closer to Luton. So, and I bought actually ticket for that conference as well.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, maybe I'll start
So,
some again. I mean, the ones I was supposed to do, I was supposed to do that thing with James wanted me. He knew about my truck driving. He's like, "Can you drive a bus?" And we talked about it. The one with him and Renetta and Brad Olson and Rob was supposed to be going. I knew my body wasn't going to be supported because they wanted to do it in May, and I'm thinking it's going to be so damn hot in Texas. I can't handle this being out in the
mm,
middle of desert in this 90 degrees or whatever. I
oh my
mean, and
gosh, yeah,
90 degrees is nothing. It gets like to 120, but I wouldn't be able to do it. I just know myself. And then that one in Orlando, it just never happened. So I have to be careful with conferences. It's like armor's got to be up. You really got to really protect yourself.
absolutely.
They can be infiltrated because I was going to work a contact in the desert and that got shut down. I mean, I was invited to work it and I got a no on that too. Don't do it. Don't put my energy there.
Yeah, I mean, I just act based on my like soul guidance, what is coming through, and I'm aware, yes, that there might be some targeting or whatever stuff, some interference.
Yeah,
Yeah, when we gather together, it attracts attention.
exactly.
Whatever is it, if from like galactics or Earthlings, whatever. So I'm aware of that. And but
Right.
I just feel pulled towards that, as you shared as well, that you're being called to go to Norway, for example, or UK as well. It would be great actually if you
Well,
join and
yeah, I loved
to see
Ireland,
you
and I really would love to go to back
and
to Ireland,
Ireland. Yeah,
Scotland, and Wales. I mean, I want to see all of it. I mean,
yeah, that
London,
would be
I'm less
great.
wanting to see because I know that you're being filmed for everything that you do, and because King Charles has actually bent the knee, as we know, and I'm kind of not too happy about that. I don't think Arthur's happy, King
Well,
Arthur.
I'm not happy about this scanning. So
Yeah,
about these scanners and how they track everything, and you get to
yeah.
apply for the authorization to enter the country because it's outside of European Union and whatever, or outside of Schengen area. So yes, I'm skeptical about this as well. So I'm thinking if I will return back in a different way, not through the
Because now
airport.
everything is facial recognition, which you can opt out of that, I guess. And I think that the UK is still on the pound, is it not? It's not. It is.
Yes,
Yeah.
British pound,
Yeah.
which is actually stronger than euro or dollar.
Yeah. Yeah. The dollar's not doing as great. Yeah. It used to be the dollar was stronger than everybody else. Not so much anymore. Right.
Wow. I mean, a lot of things going on, a lot of things. And I hope it's shifting for the positive way. However, we see a lot of mess. It's so much mess and confusion and this chemtrail stuff.
I
It's
know.
enormous attack going on. I don't know how do you see it, but it's insane. But
It
I
is
believe
insane, and it's creating a lot of havoc. I loved when the government was shut down last year because I could actually see into the firmament. I'm like, something's changed with the sky, because there was like that one time the government was shut down. A friend of mine Googled or put on Chat GBT, asked, why are there, what's going on with these things? And it said there's no money to have and geo, whatever they call it. I don't know if they called it geoengineering, but it was something like
yes, yes,
that.
geoengineering.
There's yeah, we know it's called that. I don't know what they called it on Chat GBT, but there was no money. Who numbered the stargates? I think that depends on the perspective of the author, of who you're looking at, what grid system they're doing. I know with Ashiana Dean's work, she numbered it as uh, like 12 primary stargates, and then there was, I mean, for Earth stargates, and then there was galactic stargates, that connect to, or there's like Earth, there's planetary, there's galactic, there's universal, and there's also what's called the Chi sites, which is like the activation site. Like if you look at Stargate 12, it's Kauai, and it's Montsegur, France. And I think like with 11, it's, what is it like? Maybe it's like Vale of Pusey and Stonehenge. I can't remember which one is which, though. I just go by what I feel. I use that as a reference. And then her new material, which is under the Alhambra, which is not part of Kelonic science, has 5 primary, uh, what's called the different suns, as well as the cathedral sites. Like Cathedral 1 is based out of like Mayaca, Florida, but part of that uh, side of that is that where it was dark flowering, which is Siesta Key, Sarasota, Gulf of America, New Mexico. The
Yes.
other part was the Bahamas, which also connects in with Jehovian Seal 4, I think it is. Yeah, and then
Mm-hmm.
Charleston was like the one of the 7 seals that connect in with those trumpet pulses. But I feel most drawn to the Cathedral 3, which is Norway, which she calls it Arrayas Peninsula. Part of it's in Oslo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I wouldn't fly into Oslo. I'm trying to think, what is the other city that I was going to fly into? God, I can't remember the names of things. I think I'm remembering a lot, but some of the newer information I'd need to make notes of, this
Yeah, you
spot.
can like you can fly to Bergen or you can fly
Bergen.
to
That's it.
Bergen.
Bergen. Thank you. I had a friend with the last name Bergen as a kid. That's right, Bergen. I just couldn't remember it. That's exactly where I would fly. I'd bypass Oslo and I'd go straight into Bergen. I don't care about big cities. I mean, London, because of what's there, yes, like going to see Big Ben, and just I don't know. It'd be interesting to see London, but I don't have any connection to see Oslo. But
Mm-hmm. I mean, neither.
so,
But I was there and didn't call me actually. I was in Norway and I was pulled to go more towards the north, and that was much more interesting to see the nature and to go to Lofoten Island. So that was
mm,
amazing. Yeah.
I don't know the number. Well, of course we've got in the UK. Let me finish what was I going to say in Norway first, then I go back to the UK. Um, God, my brain. Yeah, that's called Cathedral 3. Connects with the Blue Sun, which is Water Command, where they all have different commands. Now back to Stargate. So you've got Vale of Pusey, you've got Stonehenge. I'm trying to think of the other one. What's the other henge? Avebury Henge. That's
Avebury.
that's the one I feel most connected to. Like I need to go to Avebury Henge. I don't know why, what that connects to. Now, when I went to Ireland, I did not go to Tara Hill. We were going to go to Tara Hill after going to Dublin, and the mess that we went through with Dublin was not that impressed with Dublin. Actually, there was a Romanian guy pretending to be drunk. He had been drinking, but he wasn't drunk. He was trying to steal my purse is what he was trying to do. So he's
Mm-hmm.
bumping into me and being really gregarious, like, because he thought I wasn't paying attention. Well, I wasn't falling for it. So we never made it to Tara Hill, but what I connect with Tara Hill and possibly like with Avebury Henge and places like that is instead I went to Serpent Mounds
Mm-hmm.
in Ohio. So
Wow.
I would go to Avebury. I want to go to Glastonbury tour, but some people say that all this Avalon, because I read The Myths of Avalon years ago, Marion
Yeah.
Zimmer Bradley, even though that book has a lot of distortions with Lancelot and what his character is, according to other research, he may not have been like stealing Guinevere and, all this stuff, because that's like trying to say you're breaking up the marriage of, Arthur and Guinevere. I don't know. But then there's the whole Morgana thing. So there's a light and dark of these stories of Morgana and Merlin. It's all important. But is Glastonbury tour a decoy? And is all this with Arthur? He's snoring right now. Arthur's like in Wales. That's what I wonder. Is it a Welsh thing? So I
Mm-hmm.
would like to see, I don't know. So it would be interesting to see it from both perspectives. Or is there something to do with Normandy, France with Arthur also?
It's
Is
very nearby,
Arthur
so
a collective? Is there more than one Arthur? Is it a shared experience with many leaders and people that were at that time? Also, is Arthur in what their version of SSP and in stasis? That's possible too.
it's possible actually when you say it.
Yeah. Is Arthur, are those dragon lines actually dragons that are frozen in time in stone, like Renetta was talking about with what was going on with the guy sitting at what looked like a computer that looks sort of like Enki or whoever in Texas? It's sort of the same thing. That this phenomenon is in Kauai. It was in New Mexico, where there's something about these rocks when you
Yeah.
connect with them, and there's faces in the rock, so there's consciousness. I mean, we see it clearly in Easter Island with the Moai
Yeah.
heads. You could see 100% what they are, but with things are weathered. Even Western North Carolina has a lot of pyramids in
Mm-hmm.
Western North Carolina.
That's
The
a
mountains
beautiful
might be pyramids.
orgonite. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know an exact number of Stargate locations in uh, the UK. But I'll tell you, I love the show Outlander for this whole thing with these like domas and henges and things like that, and how when they touch the rocks, they actually go through a portal and go into another dimension and into another timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Drop it in the chat if you saw the show Outlander. Did you watch that?
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, Julia may rewatch this. So
Yeah,
yeah, she could possibly know it.
yeah.
Well, that I would be interested to know if there are any stargates around my area as well.
Yeah, I
Mm,
don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know your area, but what I'm feeling that you're closest to, I mean, of course, the Black Forest. And when I went to Austria, I went to the Kelstein house.
mm-hmm.
You know what that is, right?
It's the
Hitler's
southern
hideaway.
part. Yeah,
Hitler's,
it's like
which
southern part in Bavaria, Germany.
yeah, which means eagle's nest.
Hmm.
It's right, and we stayed in Austria where you could actually walk into Germany. There was a place that we stayed where you could cross the border on foot. The hotel was right there.
Hmm. Yeah, because I'm into that, like exploring my area, what is here actually. And here, what is interesting in Slovakia, for example, from the UFO sighting and the Bermuda Triangle, experiences that I've heard is like these mountains, um, or it's like the part that people used to get like missing, tribej, you know? Everyone says that it's like Bermuda Triangle when there's like the time loop or you get lost in time.
Yeah.
So that's something interesting. We have also some like pyramids, Kotazulu in eastern Slovakia, and that has actually very high amount of negative ions for healing. It's very these ions have like uh, healing properties more
Yeah.
than elsewhere, and I don't want to mention. You know what I refer to. So yeah, there are some really interesting places here, but I'm not aware about the stargates, about
Yeah.
like
How
something
far are
that,
you
yeah.
from Slovakia? How, I mean, how far of a drive would that be?
Well, where I'm from, it's from Prague, it's like 6 hours,
Oh, okay. That's
six
still a
more or
ways.
less.
What's within a
So
2 hour radius of you? Like, is there anything that's not too far that you could like get in a car and drive if you wanted to?
there, like here, you have a lot of castles and a lot of places, and I've heard about one castle which is haunted, and maybe there, it's like with paranormal activity. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. And I went to Kutná Hora, which is UNESCO city, and there is like ossuary, the lot of bones in one chapel.
Oh wow, yeah.
So yeah, usually I go to these places, and it's like when I went to, I can share my experience from Balkan when I went to Albania. That on a
Ooh.
trip, when we booked, with my partner trip to Montenegro for 1 day trip from Albania. We were in Durrës, and
Montenegro's beautiful. I just
it
that
is,
came up on YouTube. I was like, oh my God, they say that's a hidden gem people don't know about.
yeah, it is, and it's like New Croatia. Albania is New Croatia as well. So
That's
if
the
you
that
wanna,
Croatia, that was the country I was trying to remember the name before that I couldn't remember. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah.
yeah, and it's going because there's most likely a lot of still trapped spirits from all the battles and from these wars and from the battling with against like Ottoman Empire from in the past,
Yeah.
because it happened really that when we were in the bus we got a visit. That was that then energy of the dead that I felt like, what the heck, there were the spirits came into the bus, and they were trapped there for a long time, and I felt just, oh my god, they need really, they're desperately searching for help to
Wow.
go
Yeah.
back to the other side. So yeah, there are places like this when you go to Balkan, and even when you go to church, they have their like artifacts,
Oh yeah,
with the
church.
bones, whatever
Church
parts of the body.
that can be a nasty place to go. There was a church in Ireland I went to. I don't know if it was St. Michael's, but I think they said the head of John the Baptist was there. It's like, oh,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
severed head
there.
of John the Baptist. Like, oh my God, this.
Yeah, there are still some, like skeletons and parts of the body of the saints and of the people,
Oh
that
my God, just nasty,
uh, and
nasty.
in artifacts. And imagine, I always happen to find some artifacts like for this exorcism. Those are the portals.
Exactly.
It's
Oh my
it's
God. Well,
crazy.
if I were where you are, I don't know how far you are from Turkey. Like to go back. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to go to
Uh,
Turkey, but Göbekli Tepe. You
I
know,
was there. I
you
was
were
there.
there. Okay. So what did you get from there?
I was there at the time. I did the live stream with Rob.
Oh, maybe I remember
And
that. I can't remember. Maybe I do remember that. I don't know. I have to go back and watch that. What did you feel from there?
oh my God, I feel as well like at some point there was peace, and that was like welcoming energy, yeah, like welcome home. But on the other hand, I felt like, oh my God, there is some burial place, like lot of dead bodies. Maybe there were some
Oh yeah.
rituals done or stuff like that.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, that was the place for the rituals, for the ceremonies, for I don't know for which god. We were trying to identify the connection with some constellations because there was also Indigo Angel with us, like what we feel, and that was like really
Oh,
the
she went. She didn't go there though.
online. She joined us
Oh,
online.
online. Okay. Yeah. 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 That's right. Okay. I sort of remember that, but I kind of don't remember it. I'd have to go back and watch that again. How long ago was that? That was over a year ago, right? Was that a couple of years ago?
Maybe 2 years ago when I went there, and I just felt like, yeah, Turkey is the land where I want to go and where I get to do my mission. There is something that I get to do. And yeah, I the universe sent me like the companion. It was a French guy, you know,
Wow. That
who
is
was doing like this uh let's put the like work away. When you go somewhere, you have some particular skill and you get accommodation, you know, and you just take care. He was electrician, and he is. So, and we went there together. I even got a companion for the flight, you know, by the and I'm getting goosebumps because it was meant to happen. So they sent me the companion, you know, that was a woman, Valkyria. Then I realized,
Valkyria? You mean you had a
yeah,
Valkyrie with you?
yeah,
Wow. A
from the past
Valkyrie. Oh
lifetime, yeah.
God. A Slavic and a Valkyrie. That's wild. Wow. I love
Yeah.
that.
And what happened in Turkey, the people that I met, they revealed to me some stuff. And then I happened to go to Göbekli Tepe, you know. And then I felt, okay, like what's the next place? It was like Istanbul, like go to Istanbul at the time, but I had to return back to Slovakia because my dad didn't was in the hospital, and I just had to return. So yeah, but it was guiding me through the Turkey, and I felt that energy. Yes, this is home. You know, from that past lifetimes, Byzantium and the Roman Empire, Greco-Roman Empire. So, and that was like really
That
crazy.
that is so interesting. So okay, if people can't travel, see the thing is there isn't money thing. Also, the physical body sometimes doesn't allow it. In your plasma body consciousness, which I'm going to probably touch on that, which is different than astral. You really don't want to your astral body, not a safe place to travel in your astral. But it makes me think of some of these shows that I watch mainly because I want to see other places like and there was one called The Gift that was on Netflix that is to do with Göbekli Tepe, and
Hmm.
it's actually lip sung, so it's like the when it's in English, it's not as good, but it was a decent show. And then a lot of this stuff with Croatia, what I'm getting is people that wanted to go to Greece that can't afford Greece and things changing are going to like other parts like Croatia now. That's like the up and coming instead of like going to Iona or the south of France. Maybe they're going to some of these other places or the one you mentioned, which is Montenegro, which is don't tell anybody. Shh, keep that quiet. Because some of these places you don't want people to know about. Well, like, because when I saw that, I said, "Oh my God, which country is that? Where that?" It's like I guess like tiny, like like oh my God.
Yeah, it's tiny. When I look into U.S. states, you know, of course, Croatia is tiny. Montenegro is even more, even smaller.
Well,
Albania, it's smaller than Slovakia, but it was bigger before, of course.
have you been to Portugal?
Puerto Rico
No,
or,
Portugal, and the reason I say that is
oh, Portugal.
because of the you have been to Portugal
Yes, yes, I've been to Portugal.
because of the Azores. And now
Mm-hmm.
the Azores actually connect in with the ley line, which is out in the middle. of the ocean. That'd be beautiful. I think you would fly into what's the name, the hub in Portugal,
Pon,
the main
Pon,
place you, the main
Lisbon
city,
or from Porto.
huh?
Lisbon is the capital.
Lisbon.
Lisboa.
You'd fly
Yeah.
to Lisbon, and then from Lisbon you would somehow get to the Azores, okay, which is in the
Ponta
middle.
Delgada, usually. Ponta Delgada.
Yeah, that connects in with Antarctica for sure. And there's
Mm-hmm.
something to do with Atlantis there. But when you brought up castles before, I remember New Schwanstein. I want to bring that up in
Mm-hmm.
Germany because it looks like Cinderella's castle. That's the castle that they modeled the Disney Cinderella's castle after. Not 100%, but they took the idea from New Schwanstein.
Yeah, that sounds like it looks like from fairy tale, and there might be, something underground of it.
Now in Hungary, the Dracula, because the
Mm-hmm.
original Dracul is from, in Romania, right? And actually, to the Romanian people, he was a hero. I mean, not a good guy, putting people's heads on a stake, but at least he was all about protecting his country, right? But his name has the name Draco right in it. Draw,
Mm-hmm.
Vlad the Impaler, right?
Yes.
Dracula, Draco. But that castle, the ruins are not the same as like when you see something about Dracula's castle. That's to do with the Habsburgs, and I think it's in Budapest.
Yes. It's Budapest and Vienna are connected with a lot with Habsburgs.
Yeah, yeah. Does
That was
anybody have
big.
any other questions in the chat? This is fun, isn't it?
It's great. You have a lot of knowledge about Europe. I'm impressed, really.
Yeah. And
I
no
mean, it's
notes
a
right
lot.
now, but I can't remember the names of everything. I have to have some notes in front of me. I just remember like where I've been, and I need to probably research my Ireland and uh, what's it called? Like when I went to the south of France and Spain and Ireland. What was interesting in Ireland is when we went to Cork. Cork is a Stargate too. I think Cork actually, yeah, connects in with maybe the 11th Stargate with the whole Vale of Pusey and Stonehenge. I think that's the 11th. We know the 10th Stargates, that Iran mess. That's
Mm-hmm.
Stargate 10 types, they call that. So
Mm-hmm.
when we went to Cork, that's where the Titanic, supposedly, some people say it wasn't really the Titanic, it was another ship. I don't get into that. At least the story they told us, that it was the Titanic that was actually, that ship was made in Northern Ireland. And I know Julia went to that place in Northern Ireland, which I can't remember the name of that place now, right?
Maybe
But
Belfast. Maybe
Belfast.
Belfast.
Thank you. If I can't remember, just ask you, but you know what I'm seeing and hearing. So it was made there and disembarked from Cork. Well, my mother had a total meltdown in Cork, never wanted to go on a cruise ship because one of her ancestors was actually on the Titanic, supposedly made
Oh.
it off. Another
Mm-hmm.
thing that's interesting about that, the Vanderbilts, George Vanderbilt of the Vanderbilt estate, which is called the Biltmore Estate, which is in Asheville, North Carolina, which is a modern day castle, which was built in 1895. That's when it was finished, and I think it opened on Christmas of 1895. I'd have to look that up to get my facts 100% right. Now, I used to do a tour called the Biltmore Village Mystery Tour. But anyway, their luggage, the Vanderbilt's luggage, was actually on the Titanic and not them. They were on another ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, there are more theories about the Titanic, like what really happened, in a different timelines. That there might
Mm-hmm.
be more scenarios, not only that they all sunk and
Yeah,
died.
right. hitting an iceberg and all that stuff. Yeah, that's,
Mm-hmm.
not sure. Wasn't
Yeah.
there. Could remote view it if I wanted. To me, it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I like to be. And I actually, I would love to put some trips together. That's what I like to do. I'm not great with the logistics. I mean, I'm great with boots on the ground, but actually the money and the organizing of people and things like that, it's got to be simple. I mean, if people organize themselves like Rob wants to do and pay for themselves, but if I have to put together everything, how much is it going to cost? You have to do this, that. I mean, I would need help with that, but I mean, I've wanted to do it because uh,
Yeah.
I might go, but not this year. I cannot go to bases this year.
Would be
I don't even
great.
know if I want to fly out of the U.S. right now. I don't have a good feeling. I want this. I want this crap. My glasses are fogging up. I guess I don't need them. I want this crap to go away that's going on right now. That I don't agree with this. I don't care about what Carrie Cassidy says and this white hat and all this because I don't think that starting a war is the way to bring peace. I don't. I just.
No. No.
I mean,
No.
if
But
we're there,
yeah.
I think it was Theodore Roosevelt that said, "Walk softly, carry a big stick." I think if you're invaded, you have every right to protect your domain, but to go and take people out of government and put different people in that's their karma and for them to learn. I don't think we should be getting involved with that. But that's just, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
neither here nor
Yeah.
there.
I
So
mean, if we want to evolve, really, war is not an option. I mean, why? We've been battling for eons. History is full of blood and full of manipulation, battles. So why? Why we should do it now? No, there are ways,
is
I believe.
Terry going to the basis conference? Where Terry, where are you anyway? Where are you, Terry?
Yeah, where are you located?
Yeah, I see
It would
Terry
be
a lot.
great.
Wonder, I don't know where all these people are. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think they're mostly, Puck is from Australia, right?
Yes,
Okay, so Jason is US.
Jason's in
Um,
Chicago, isn't he?
oh, I'm not sure. Is he?
I think so.
Oh,
Thought so.
okay.
I think he went through Chicago to the O'Hare Airport anyway. That does. I don't know if he lives there, but I know he
Mm-hmm.
wants to be in Hawaii. I know that.
Yeah, that's also very interesting.
Yeah.
Mm, there is also some Stargate in Hawaii.
Yes, Kauai. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that,
That's
that but that's what
great.
people label as these are stargates and these are portals. But you can create your own portal, and we are like a stargate unto ourselves because I think we are the ones here that have to open the gates anyway.
I believe that you are the portal. I'm
Yeah.
the portal. Each of us is a portal with unique frequency and
Right.
gifts. So
Exactly.
whenever you go, you just that you do the work. It's good. It's
Yeah.
happening by itself.
Right.
What is meant to be done. As we go and do this grid work, you do the grid work and you feel, and you just do your research and it's just happening.
Yeah.
So
But
this is what I love. I love to talk with you about this stuff. I mean, we could go on and on. So would you like to do some collective reading,
oh yeah, I could do that.
pull some
You
cards?
thought before you asked about this, if I was near, about the 33rd parallel. I'm right
Mm-hmm.
below it here, so I'm
Yeah.
actually below. Atlanta's on the 33rd parallel, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
below it. So let's see what cards we're drawn to. Um, let's do fairies today. I'll just do some oracle cards instead of
Awesome.
tarot cards because the lighting isn't super great. Now the sun's flashing in my eyes, and I'm just feeling, the land and the greenery and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm feeling like fairy energy. Hey,
Hi,
Woo.
Derek. Yeah. Who is here?
Hello, Woo.
Yeah, Florida.
What part of Florida?
I think he's in Jacksonville area. if I can say. I
Oh,
don't-
Jacksonville. You know where
yeah.
would be interesting to go out of there is to no, I can't remember the Amelia Island. Ask Wu. He's probably and Arthur actually, you know what? He was born in Jacksonville. This dude, he was conceived in Hot Springs, North Carolina,
Oh,
but he was born in Jacksonville and then came back to North Carolina because
so yeah,
I know his biological parents. I know his mother was Rosie and his father was Mystery. So I know his folks. That's how I
I
know his
love it.
exact birthday, which is May 19th.
Hmm.
So let's do a
Amazing.
card for you first. Where would you like your card from? Top, middle, or bottom?
As you feel guided. And I hope that Desiree is okay, that you're all good, doing well, Derek.
I'm getting for you, I got two cards. Something about moving forward fearlessly and raising your standards, which means I think there's something you want to be doing more of that you've not been doing. So I think that getting out and starting to do conferences and things like that is going to help shift things for you. And like going, just doing it. I have to do it too. I seem to be doing it more in a car, but getting on a plane, doing it. Because when was the last time you actually traveled? Was it a few years ago when you went to? Because I'm a caregiver for my father too, and taking care of parents is not easy.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
Yes. I mean, I travel. I was this year, and I have my mother as well, but she's still fine. So I'm grateful for that. However, it's also challenging for me to deal with the stuff that she has,
Right,
and it's
exactly. So
mostly
we're
the like
doing that.
mental trap, But
Yeah, when Amelia Island is 43 miles from our house. Woo, do you go there often? I probably would if I were you. I would go there.
yeah, I'm glad to hear that it's much better. Yeah, because the last time with Julia, I think it was with Julia, we sent some healing. So hope it helped.
Would Woo like a card? Who wants a card?
Yeah, why not? Let's pull some cards for Wu. If you're up, Derek, let us
Inner
know.
power. Somebody is needing inner power. We're all needing that. I think it's time. Something is shifting and it's time.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I'll share this story. So the other night I was seeing things in the house, and this was after going to see uh I went to see the Mandalorian and Grogu, which is
Mm-hmm.
this guy. Baby
Yay.
Yoda. They say don't call him Baby Yoda, call him Grogu.
No
That
Yoda.
I started seeing my uh, smoke alarm started flashing like a bright pink. It was like becoming like magenta pink and blue and all these frequencies. And that was after connecting with the Northern Lights. Did I tell this before? And how all these fractals, I was like seeing spider webs and honeycomb design and like these plasma wispy things in the house. Before that, I had felt that vibration. I was like, I'm shutting this down because I don't want to be going anywhere and against my will. And I'm sticking my hand. Yes, disclosure day is already out. I'm going Sunday. So I stick my hands into this like ectoplasma. My hands disappear like a portal, and I'm seeing the sky, no ceiling, and looking up at the stars. I'm like, isn't this interesting? The next day, there was a crack in the foundation of the house. And I think it has something to do with these sonic booms, which I still have been so busy. I've not been able to research the sonic booms. Now, I've felt them before when they do them in the water, but this I must have slept through. It must have been like a caloric under the ground thing that was like an earthquake or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could talk much
Body movement
more.
to move. So it's important to get out and just move. Okay, well, let's pull. We've started with Vikings, so I do want to do that too before we call it a wrap. So let me find
Mm-hmm.
the Viking Oracle and see.
Wow,
Uh,
I just love it. Viking Oracle. Yeah, this is collective message because I think it's everything is shifting and the energy as well. What worked before, it's not working anymore, and it's just
No.
like uh, leading us towards new perspectives and doing things freely. Free
Oh
your
my
mind, free
God.
yourself.
This is back to your trip with the Valkyries.
There it is.
Isn't that a hope? So yeah, that those pieces of Gobekli Tepe. I look forward to hearing what you're going to share on your talk. I have no idea. When you call yourself the natural sentient, just give me a definition of what that means as in regards to your genre of who it is that you are, what you bring.
That name came to me by download because I really love nature and I love to connect with animals, with plants, with trees. So and that's actually by itself, by default,
Oh
the
no,
planet itself,
you
to connect
froze
with the
for a minute.
land.
Say that again. You froze for a minute.
You see,
You
doesn't want me
froze.
to explain. So yeah, it's a high energy already. So yeah, it's by default. It came to me, that I got it. That I let's use it as your name because I love nature and animals. I can hear that language of the nature. So and it actually explains the grid work. But what I'm gonna talk about uh, on the during the conference, my topic is a bit different, but it's very connected because it's going to be about learning self-love through the
Oh,
wisdom of wounds. So I'm not going to talk about the grid work, but about like more emotional stuff that we go through, how we are searching ourselves and how we go through all this stuff that is self-sabotage and self-denial. Through that we reach at some point, the self-acceptance, and that is the bridge to self-love. So yeah, let's see.
I, and I think I'm going to go back that way and make it more of a somatic experience too, about how it all goes back to us too, and what we hear with, like I had my experience of I'm going over the road to do grid work, but what is the person that's listening, what are they hearing that's going to be their experience and their grid work of consciousness? It doesn't have to be that they're going in a truck or they're traveling here and there, but it can be the grids of their property. It doesn't have to be big, it can be also the small. So I was
Yeah.
shuffling and pulling cards again, and you brought up animals, and I had a cat named Freya who I miss.
And that's again Viking energy. It was a wife of Odin, right?
Yeah, one of them I think, and maybe somebody else. I don't know those stories, but I look at her. I don't even look at her in that way. I see her as the goddess with the two cats that she.
Cats, yes, and
And
with
when
chariot.
Freya came in, Freya actually came to my door. Well, actually, was in my yard when I was at the bird feeder, and I was picking sunflower sprouts that the squirrels had planted because I like to eat sunflower sprouts. And
Hmm.
I said, "You're beautiful," but no, she's got Russian blue. I had already had two cats, but then when she showed up at the door with two other cats, I had to do it. Yeah, I just had to.
Hmm.
Just couldn't not. I'll show you. This is her most beautiful girl. She actually was in a contest, a Halloween contest one year, and won a $300 gift card.
Oh, beautiful.
And this was her later in life.
Hmm. And beautiful, really.
I
With all
miss
the,
her. She
yeah,
was like she really was a goddess. She was like, if we were in Egypt together, she was one of my priestesses
she
as
was,
human,
yes,
as human form, all
yes,
connected
yes,
like to the temple of Bastet.
big yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is just amazing.
Yeah.
uh, Derek is asking, do you believe humanity as a whole will eventually try and get rid of artificial intelligence and data centers?
I don't know if AI is 100% bad. I think we are so used to that, but we can't be dependent on any of it. But these data centers, I'm really concerned because I see it as a way to rape, pillage, and plunder our natural resources, just like they did with that hurricane in Western North Carolina. It was that hurricane was sent through there because of those, the lithium and stuff in those mountains. It's just awful. I hope so. I mean, I don't. I think these data centers are terrible. I know Western North Carolina wants to have three. There's supposed to be one in Asheville, one near the coast of Virginia, and one in the Piedmont of North Carolina. Yeah, you can see the lighting's getting the sun the way it is right now. I have to figure out where I'm going to sit for Gina. This
Mm,
conference. I have this had this all planned out, but it's not looking right. Maybe it's got to be a different place.
for now, it's a perfect place. I
Yeah,
really love it.
yeah.
And I
I guess
love your
it's okay.
energy.
It just sometimes bothers me a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, would you like to share your links or the ways how people can get in touch with
Oh
you?
yes, yes, and I do work for people, but I don't advertise. I do this and I charge that. I don't do it that way because when people find me, they just find me and we talk about it. We have a conversation, and it usually encompasses like with a reading, a 12 tree grid reading, I call it, which is, and I work with people over a period of days. I don't do like set up a Zoom and just do it. It's like I meditate on them and I get their word codes, and I do a reading, and do a quantum infinity scan and all this kind of stuff. I do just different things. So my best way is my email. I've got my YouTube channel, my email, which is, well, it's hillnitevision, which is NITE. And the reason it's that is because when I was developing a website back in the day, GoDaddy, I couldn't have night, NIGHT. So it's Hill, NITE Vision, VISION at gmail.com. I'm on Facebook through mutual friends. I'm on Instagram. X, I'm there, but I stay off of X. I don't do anything there. And now I'm rebooting my YouTube channel. So I did something yesterday with Tiffany, and I'm going to start doing shows. And actually, I've got Joshua Shapiro coming on Monday, and whoever else.
Wow,
So I'm
that's
going to,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, I will share your email and your YouTube channel uh, in the description
Yeah, the
below the
YouTube
video.
is Galactic Earth Fusion. I think it's Missy Hill or Melissa Hill, Galactic Earth Fusion. But you see the videos there. So a lot of people are subscribed. I think I have 70 subscribers. So please, for Slavka too, and me, and Rob, and Julia, and Christy, and all of our soul family, please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, and let's help us to grow and let's help to spread the information.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
My aunt had to get on horseback and ride down the mountainside to survive that North Carolina hurricane. Everything. Oh, yes. I know. It was bad. I was removed, left. Actually, it was on my husband's birthday when we left a couple weeks before. And when I drove through Chimney Rock and Lake Lure, I wanted to linger. I'm like, let's stop, hang out here, take pictures. I had no idea 2 weeks or so later, whatever it was going to be, that hurricane was coming through. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's insane when this happens. So hope you are all okay and hope you are safe as well where you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that's great. I really loved our conversation. Hope to have you back soon.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. And I'll be sharing, on Saturday that people can reference this show because a lot of good talking points are in this show because we're just not going to be able to cover, you know, too many stories. I mean, we're gonna it's going to be little bit because it's going to be by the time we think we've covered it, it's going to be done. That 35 mark is going to come up pretty fast.
Yeah, and that I mean it's limited time, to squeeze everything in. So yeah, I believe that it's gonna be great. Anyway, I'm very excited, and I look forward to see you there. So on June 13th, this Saturday, it's
Yep,
gonna
sounds
be
great.
Gina's Summer Days online conference. I put the link. If you want to get a ticket, you're very welcome because it's going to be really packed with a lot of great dragon speakers.
Yep.
So thank you very much, Missy. You're awesome. And thank you for sharing your stuff. There is much more, I know. God bless to all. Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And thank you for coming.
Yes.
So take care and have a wonderful
For
day.
having me. I appreciate it. This has been wonderful and namaste, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Love you, Missy.
Love you too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.